So when looking for a home, the first thing that you really need to do, well before even knowing what you want in a home, is to make sure that you can afford the home that you're interested in buying. And by doing that, you have to get a mortgage, right? So mortgages can be approved in two ways. One is kind of a pre-qualification, and the other one is a pre-approval. So let's start with pre-qualification. Very basic stuff. You call your banker, you stop in, whatever, and you say, hey man, I want to buy a house. And he or she says, yep, okay, sounds good. What's your income? I think it's around, 70,000. Okay, good. And how's your credit? Yeah, my credit's pretty good. I'm late in the odd thing here. Oh, that should be okay, the banker says. And then you say, the banker says, do you have any debt? And you go, yeah, I have a little bit of debt. I have a car loan. I have this. Yeah, what are the rough numbers? They take that down. And then they come out with a basic assumption that you can afford the home. They haven't done any additional research. They haven't verified your income. They haven't verified your employment, all of that stuff, which is what needs to be done to get pre-approved. Now, if you want a pre-approval, which is what you really should do, you go to the bank and you say to them, I want a pre-approval. They will ask you how much money you make and to prove it. They want an income letter. They want to see your T4, your tax return, make sure that you don't owe any outstanding taxes. They will make sure that your, what we call the debt ratio, is in line, meaning that you can only have so much debt relative to your income to make sure that you can afford to pay the mortgage. So once they go through all of these processes and double checks and triple checks, your credit rating, all that kind of stuff, they come out at the end of it and say, yes, you are approved for this mortgage. And now you can go confidently ahead and buy a home knowing that they've already pre-approved you. It's a great thing to do. The issue though sometimes is certain people, and there are a lot of them out there now, are, let's say, self-employed, or they haven't been in a job more than 2 years, which is one of the criteria, or let's say they jump from job to job like every 2 years. So there is an inconsistency for employment, and that's a little risky for the institutions. Let's say you're self-employed, and you know how it is with self-employment. You don't want to pay taxes, so you write off everything that you possibly can, including the chewing gum for stress relief purposes, all that kind of stuff. And now you're going to be in a situation where you have little taxes to pay, but you're also proving that you have little income. Now, they know that that's not really the case. They know that you've written off everything, but they also know you can afford a mortgage. Some banks have more liberal lending policies than others. So some institutions will allow you, because they're not the big five, they'll allow you to have some of these circumstances as part of the qualification process and still approve you. So your circumstance will dictate which institution you have to go to in order to be approved. Now, there's a next level, which is called B lending. So let's say you've had some rough credit. Let's say that you've had some issues in the past. Let's say you've just started working and you're not the ideal borrower in the lender's eyes. Well, what ends up happening is that they'll charge you a slightly higher interest rate, maybe ask for, if that's not enough, maybe they'll ask for a co-signer, but at that particular time, they may be able to actually give you a mortgage or approve you for a mortgage. I say oftentimes that if you can get a mortgage and it isn't an ideal set of circumstances, it's the opportunity cost of home ownership. So don't say, I didn't get the mortgage I want or the interest rate I want, so I'm not gonna get a mortgage or buy a house, because the market will leave you. So it's really, really important, first off, just to wrap this up, to get a pre-approval, not only a pre-qualification, and understand that you can go to two different sources to get the mortgage. One, a bank or financial institution, and the second is a mortgage broker. For example, on our team, we have a mortgage broker, and she represents 42 different institutions with varying lending policies. So if you're not the perfect fit for one of the big five banks out there and your circumstances are a little unique, you can use a broker, and that broker might find a company that has lending policies that suits your situation.